Get testing, Dan.
And it's all sorts of weird stuff
I got a
going
lot
on.
more out of it.
I mean, I really like the arc and the
Mr. Leslie,
establishment.
what do you
It's
reckon?
so big you can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
You look like a
The
director
thing is,
now. You look like Ron Howard.
Yes.
The problem is I've got this stupid massive forehead, so caps generally don't fit on my head, so it's kind of sitting
Oh,
slightly.
really? Oh, damn.
Yeah, it does fit, but it doesn't fully go on my head. So.
Oh, I just think I look awful with hats. I
I
not
find them
comfortable.
uncomfortable, so I don't wear.
I got.
I don't want to go back to wearing the beanie. I thought that was long haired Sam era. This is now, you know.
You got to change the hat with the hair.
We're wearing caps. Hang on.
We're going to. Yes, come on, that's it.
I got my Watch Dogs cap on. Hell yeah, represent.
That's the thing, because it hovers about here, so it doesn't fully go on my head, which is really annoying. But
Are we doing like a represent Neil thing? Because Neil likes to wear caps.
That's-
Neil's not
yes.
here, so we're all representing him. wearing
So-
a cap.
Okay,
I've got
so,
my Boston hat, and then hang on.
Oh, it's wardrobe change.
I like this one, whatever that is. Oh
The
yeah,
Lakers
perfect.
one.
Got my
Yeah, it's gotta be
Lakers.
Yeah,
Come on,
boy.
gotta be Lakers.
Right then.
Gotta be Lakers. Right. Okay. So, few quick points then. Obviously, starting off then, I will just talk a real brief about the Bad Batch. There's not that much to talk about, to be honest. One of the
Oh,
criticisms,
Is it developing anything yet, or is it still just kind of doing its?
like little bits, we've started seeing a bit more of Fennec Shand, and that's kind of cool. But there's nothing. It's frustrating. It's so episodic.
Right.
And not in. I like I like Villain of the Week things, but there's just not enough underlying like story arc going on in the series for me at the moment. Like this week's one was just a pretty. It was enjoyable. It was Star Wars, but it was well animated. But it was just very inconsequential. It felt. And yeah, I know I'm starting to like lose a little bit of patience. I think with Clone Wars throughout from about season 2 to all the way to the end, there was some boring episodes and some kind of, dare I say, pointless episodes, but there was always a good underlying story arc. And we're already sort of 5 or 6 episodes in, and there's probably 12 episodes in this series. Yeah, so I know I'm starting to lose my patience with it just a little bit, being honest. Purely because I just want them to kind of get to the point now. I don't know if we've just been spoiled with Mandalorian and other stuff, but like, I think Mandalorian is like cream of the crop in terms of Star Wars storytelling at this point. I don't know. I'll see. I'm not gonna like give up on it because I'm paying the subscription, so I'll keep watching it. It's starting to wear a little bit. I won't lie.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
So, what have you guys been watching this week then?
Dan.
I'm pointing to you.
You're
You're
over
pointing
now.
that way. Well, last night I finished series 2 of Kuroko's Basketball, and it's still incredible, and I still don't know why. It's just so
Cool.
it's just so much. So in stuff like, I don't know, in any kind of sporting anything, either a real game or like a movie about a sporting hero, you have that thing where like, oh, go on guys, do the thing. They're like, oh, I did the thing. It's like that, but every time you watch it, you're like, yeah,
Amazing.
get the dog, pass the thing. Oh, he's going for It just has that whatever that like, I don't know, endorphin boosting kind of feeling is. It has that for like every episode. It's fantastic. And it kind of leaves things open for the next series. There's some character stuff going on with one of the characters, like past. It's not really a rival, but kind of like past sort of basketball people.
Nemesis.
Yeah, kind of, because he has this thing where it's like, we're brothers, but if you beat me, we're no longer brothers. And he beats him, and he's like, Dad, I'm gonna go be his brother anyways. And he like shoots off at the end of the series, and then
Of course.
there's all like the thing I quite like about it is it's got the very anime thing of like they like get new skills and stuff over the course of the series, but it just feels kind of natural in a weird kind of way, because the star player guy they've got on their team learns how to go into the zone where their body and mind like become one, and they go at like 100%, and they're just like crazy fast and super unstoppable.
Is this Soul? Is it become Soul now?
Yeah. But he sort of he kind of does that during a match where he's like about to get like completely dominated, and then it kind of becomes a thing he can just kind of do after he figures out how to do it, sort of thing. So it's not
The
like
Avatar state.
yeah, but it's less like, oh, I need to do it, so I will do it. It's more like, oh, I've sussed it out because of all the training I've been doing, and this match requires me to like push a little harder, so I'll try this
So he's
thing.
Aang, not Korra.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's more Aang, less Korra, which is why I think I like it, because it's just like you see them doing like training for like 3 episodes where they're like, oh, I'm gonna try this new technique out, and then it's like, did they learn it? Who knows? And then like at the clutch moment in a match, they'll be like, I'll try the new thing out and see if it works, and it does work, and everyone's like, yeah!
Oh, cool.
It's so good. So yeah, that was fun. And I watched, I don't think I covered this last week because we were talking about it, but I've watched series 2 of the Love, Death and Robots. I finally got through that.
Don't know if we talked about
We
that.
talked about it last
actually,
week. I think Neil had watched it, but I don't think I had. But I burnt
Yeah,
through
that's
that.
right. Yeah,
Oh,
Dave and Neil had.
That's
And
right.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Not as strong as Series 1. I did come up with a really good analogy last night. What was it? So Series 2 is like a box of like roses or Quality Street. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. But Series 1
Yeah.
is like a box of like dairy milk, where it's just full of all the good stuff. That's just always delicious. Even if you don't like them, they're still delicious. Whereas Quality Street, like, there's some that nobody ever wants,
Yeah, there's always that, like one brand left
Yeah.
over, and you're like,
I feel like that's Series 2 compared to Series 1. Series 1 is like the milk tray or whatever it is, where everything is delicious, and you're like, yep, I will eat any of these, give me one. Whereas Quality Street is like, yes, yeah, thanks, I guess. You're not unhappy to have a box of Quality Street, but you're like, I'm never going to eat the toffee ones because I don't like them. That's where I'm at with
fair enough.
I did enjoy it. There was some good art styles, stuff. I think me and you, Elliot, talked about the tall
What was
grass
that,
and stuff.
Sam?
He's waving his magic wand
I was turning the LEDs off because it was doing the white balance. It was
Oh, I see.
muffling the white balance on the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fine, but it just didn't hit the heights of Series 1 in terms of just...
It's pretty much what I said a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago. 'Cause I was the only one to have watched it back then, and I'm glad that everyone enjoyed the Christmas episode last week. What did you make of the
I
Christmas
thought that
episode,
was really
Dan?
funny. It wasn't my favourite one, but it was disgustingly brilliant.
Yep.
The design of the monster is phenomenal.
Fantastic.
It's so gross.
Have you not seen it yet, Sam?
No, this is the thing. I've been this busy. I barely watch TV, which is a real rarity for me. But I'm not watching a lot at the moment. Like I finished
Same.
Scrubs. I'll touch on real briefly actually because
Go on.
So you obviously got season 1 to 8, which are just fantastic all the way through. Like it rounds it off real nice. JD leaving, and then there's season 9 where it was supposed to be a spin-off, and like. I've never seen it before, and I was told that I wouldn't like it, but I quite enjoyed it. It was like, okay, the best things again. I don't think you guys have seen the US Office, have you?
No.
Okay, so the US Office, you've got season 1 to 7, which you've got Steve Carell, which is just spot on all the way through. You got season 8, which is the first season after he left, which actually is still surprisingly good. Like if you say those first seasons are like 90 to 100%. You've got season 8, which is like 75%, and then you got season 9, which is the one where it falls apart. So what I think happened with Scrubs season 9 is it starts off and they do quite a good handoff. So there's still stuff going on with JD and Elliot and all those guys, and I quite like the new characters they bring in for the most part. You got Dave Franco. There we go. I quite like his character. And then there's some background characters who get promoted to kind of more series regulars, and then you've got some main cast as well. And I enjoyed the 12 episodes there were, and I could see what they were trying to do with it. And I thought if they kept the writing up, and as long as they keep bringing the characters you love back, because familiarity is good, it could have been still pretty good. It was never going to live up to the original Scrubs, but I think it could have been a good companion piece. But I think in the same time, I'm not surprised that they ended it when they did, because actually, even though it kind of just ends, and you're like, oh, okay. I think it could have probably ended up being like The Office season 9, where it's like, I can enjoy this, and there's still good episodes, but it's kind of like, well, it's more like, I'm trying to think of the best one. Okay, so for me, it's more like Celebrations, where you want half the box and another half you don't want. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of see, like, I mean, for me, it's like Cadbury Heroes, I like all but the eclairs. Why the eclairs are still in Heroes after all this time, I don't know. They are awful. They are.
I quite like them.
Why?
There you go. See, my
Well,
point
I'm
exactly. Some people might be like, best thing I've ever seen. Other people might be like, yeah, Claire's there.
I'm gonna just have to. I'm gonna have to open up my webcam controller so I can do my just unimpressed zoom in on my face. So, Elliot, tell me again that you like the eclairs.
I quite like the eclairs. There, you happy?
No.
No, no, I didn't think you were. Something about that Zoom told me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mate, this is my new expressive zoom. I can also just like if I want to zone out, I could just do this.
Oh wow.
Anyway.
Sam's gone.
I think every time you guys talk about something I'm not really paying attention to.
I think that would work quite well. You know.
Okay, so it's not involved. That's okay. So yeah, okay. Scrubs season 9, like, I don't know if you guys are ever going to watch it. If you want like an easy watching sitcom, Scrubs is great. And season 9 is worth watching because there's enough in there to enjoy. I'm kind of glad they ended it when they did, although it would have been nice if they'd maybe done another few episodes just to round it off. I like it. It's, the way I kind of see it is at the end of the Infinity Saga, you've got Spider-Man No Way Home as like a little epilogue, like a little, you know,
Yeah.
I quite like, you know, epilogue-based sort of stuff, and I kind of see Scrubs season 9 as that. I just think they could have done a few more episodes just to kind of round it off and go, okay, everyone's sort of in their place. It's a happy ending. Good. So
Yeah.
that was my thoughts on Scrubs season 9. I'm watching Bob's Burgers at the moment, which is hilarious. I will fill in at some other time because there's so
Okay.
many episodes of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've watched a couple films. I've watched I Am Mother, which is taking me a little while to catch up on.
That's the Netflix one. Yeah.
It's the Netflix one. I was most keen to watch it because of the wetter robot. Oh, sound's gone.
Not doing it.
And yeah, it was very well made. I really enjoyed it. About a 7 out of 10, I would say, just to get on the rankings here because we don't normally do that. So yeah, pretty good. The ending's a little bit weird. In terms, it's not the neatest logical conclusion. It's a bit sort of like, right, we'll go with a slightly stereotrope, you know. Stereotrope?
Stereotrope. That's
Trope.
new. You just made up a new word.
Yep, it's a trope, but it's also a stereotype. So there you
Yep.
go. Of like evil robot kind of thing. Sorry, it's a bit of spoiler, but not really.
Spoiler.
But yeah, the way it ends, it just leaves it's a bit messy, but it's
Okay.
also fine. So well worth a watch.
Yeah,
Definitely,
it's been on my
good
watch
fun.
list for no so long.
Yeah, well, when you have time, do give it a watch.
Alright.
And yeah, I mean, all the effects work is really great, as you expect from like Weta's robot, you know, suit and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, not really many faults with it, other than maybe just how the actual story of the plot comes together. Everything else generally fine or not noticeable, you know, unless you're really nitpicking. I'm sure there's stuff in there that you'd be like, oh, that thing's very annoying. But yeah, no, good film. And the second thing I watched, which I know came up on recommendations a few weeks back on here, was Sound of Metal.
Oh, the
Finally
Death
watched
Drummer
it.
thing.
Oh, I've seen it. It's on my list.
Me either.
Might watch it today, don't know.
So, as I said at the time when it was suggested to me, because there was like 1 week where everyone suggested it to me, because they're like, you're a drummer, you will like this, it's about drums.
You drum man. You like drum film.
Exactly. And as soon as I heard what it was about, I was like, a drummer losing his hearing, that sounds like a nightmare. That sounds like a horror movie for me. And I gotta say, as soon as the hearing loss kicks in, my stomach was like flip-flopping. I was like, oh, this is the worst.
Oh no.
And it's done all like, you know, seriously, it's not like, you know, it's almost like a dramatized version of real events. Which for one of the actors who plays the leader of like this deaf, that's what we're talking about, community, his role is almost like true to his own life, almost exactly, and he does a really good job of acting. I don't know if he is an actor, done, you know, drama society stuff or whatever, but he was so good. It really helped you buy the whole emotional connection that he has with Riz Ahmed's character. I was so absorbed in the trauma because I could relate to it to some degree. I was like, oh my god! But yeah, really good film. Do watch it.
What's that on? Is that on?
That's on Prime.
That's on Prim. Okay.
Prim.
Yeah.
Prim. Not Netflix.
I mean, speaking of, if we're going to talk about Amazon, and they've just bought MGM,
Yeah, I
which
know. I heard about
Yeah.
that.
James Bond. So whether we're now, I mean, I don't know what that means for it, because I quite like the fact that we don't get James Bond too often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious to know, because obviously I'm really keen for No Time to Die.
Yep.
Although, when are we going to get to see that now? Because I've got this horrible feeling they'll suddenly go, oh, it's coming out, and then there'll be another spike in cases, and they'll be like, no, we're not going to see it now. We're going to have to wait until next year. Well, that's
Yeah, No Time to Die, 30th September now, apparently.
So,
Huh.
okay.
That's when I can finally take time off from work past September.
Yeah,
Woo,
Nice. But
There
it was
we
meant
go.
to be, what was it, 19th, 17th of May last year,
Yeah,
the date for No Time to come
yeah.
out.
Having recently rewatched all the Daniel Craig Bonds, I really want to see it because it just, I don't know, something about this.
You watched, including Quantum of Solace, did you watch?
Yes, I know. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Well, yeah, okay, to be fair, I don't know how you found, because I hadn't watched it for years. Coming back to Quantum of Solace,
Quantum of Solace.
There's good bits in it. Like, I like the first sequence. Like, I like the fact that it almost goes directly off of Casino Royale. Like, I like that little.
Yeah, I do like how it rounds off story edges from Casino Royale.
Yeah, and actually, the bit I really like is they're watching like an opera. It's a bit like the scene in Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Actually, there's the
Yeah.
that one's really great. And then what's really funny is the guy is the kind of terrorist guy is the bloody dad from Friday Night Dinner, and he's the guy from what's it, Chernobyl. You know, the
Oh,
not bad.
yeah.
Also, R.I.P. by the way to him, because that was really sad to find out he died. But yeah, so I think Quantum of Solace has good bits. But
Yeah,
like,
it's just overall, it's a bit.
Well, what's your ranking then of the 4 films, of the 4 Danny Craig films?
Well, Casino Royale is always at the top. It's just a good film in its own right. James Bond or not, it's just phenomenal. And I mean, bless him, Chris Cornell, you know, doing the song.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. What are the other ones? Skyfall. I'd say Skyfall. I do really like Skyfall, but it's very slow compared to the others. I feel like it's good. It's a really well made film, but it just.
Yeah.
Oh no! It needs a
So
bit.
does it go in number 2 as it should or not?
Well, here's the next point I was going to make. I am a real sucker for Les Seydoux, so you know, it kind of twists things a little bit. I did really enjoy Spectre. I quite like what's his face as Blofeld, Christoph Waltz. I think he makes quite a good Blofeld. I feel like I'm being peer pressured to stay Skyfall, but I want to say Spectre second because I just enjoyed it more.
Say Spectre then. You're wrong, but you know.
You're wrong, but right. Skyfall is definitely third, and Quantum of Solace is bottom of the pile.
Fair enough.
But because of the love for Lea Seydoux, I'm excited for No Time to Die because I want to see what happens with her character because she's kind of
Yes.
From the trailers, Bond doesn't look too happy to see her, and at the end of Spectre, they're like all hooked up. So I'm like,
what's happened?
what happens there then? That's what I'm kind of coming at it from, anyways.
Well, I'm keen to see Rami Malek's character.
Yes.
In No Time to Die.
Yes.
Like Rami Malek is just, oh man, dude, big fan of him.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I think for me, I rewatched them about 5 or 6 months ago when I thought it was going to come out pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think Skyfall hits at the top for me because that's the one I had the best experience watching that in the cinema.
Yeah.
I quite like a slightly slower burn film. I think that's why I really love the 2014 Godzilla. And I think Sam Mendes carries some of the I don't know what the word is, the principles of filmmaking that Christopher Nolan does, especially when it comes to cinematography and lighting.
Yeah, I say it.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
can
very
see that,
Nolan-y
yeah.
sort of film. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely, Nolan Jr. or something.
Yeah.
not quite.
No.
He doesn't. Sam Mendes is nowhere near his potential. Sorry, Christopher Nolan, but I just don't know what to make of Tenet anymore. We'll talk about Tenet another time.
Oh,
because I just
yeah.
don't know what
It's
to make
loud
of it anymore. I watch it, but I don't. Yeah, I just don't know anymore. I just don't know. Yeah, so I'd probably put Skyfall first. Very close to Casino Royale because actually, I think as a standalone, I think Casino Royale is the better film. As a Bond film, I think Skyfall's a better film. That's the way I kind of see it. Also, the car in Casino Royale is just nothing beats. That is my favorite car of any James Bond film. Like it's so.
What
Yes.
the one they
Yeah.
roll like 200 times,
Yeah.
whatever it was, the
Oh, yeah,
record,
the
the
one on the
record-breaking
record.
one, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
don't forget our Lord and Savior Mads Mikkelsen.
Well,
just,
yeah, he plays a very good bad guy. The Shifra
He does.
is so
Very
good.
good.
Even though
I
he's
like
kind
it.
of under the heel of, well, Spectre at the end.
Yes.
Yeah,
I thought
kind
again.
of. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think he's a great
Yeah,
bad
he
guy.
is really good.
Also, I mean, what's it? Eva Green.
Mm.
I've always had a bit of a thing for Eva Green. You know, she just there's just something about her. I mean, she's so. Yeah.
She's so. Yeah. One
I
thing,
think
one thing I did like about watching Casino Royale again is because the first time I watched it was, I don't know, whenever it came out, and I was still in my teens back then, and
Okay,
now
cool.
having gone to like uni,
2008.
it was a while ago, so that's a while ago. But since then, I've actually played poker, and I was like, oh, I know the hands now. So when
Yes, I had
when
the
it's
exact
like,
same experience.
you know, the camera pans to him going, but don't you? And everyone's like, oh, you're like, oh, with him, and everyone else in the room is going, what? I'm like, dude, you got the best hand in the game. So good.
Yeah, I still don't get poker, but I just know by the Stereotropes, I know.
That's going to be my T-shirt.
And then I'd probably say Spectre. I think Spectre is underrated. I really, a lot
Thank
of people
you.
hate the Sam Smith song. I really like the Sam Smith song. Like, I'm not a big fan of Sam Smith as a singer, but actually that song I quite like. I quite like their song. Yeah,
Fair enough.
And also that first scene with the celebration of the dead or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
Dia de los
Yeah, no.
Muertos.
That's the point. I want to watch Army of the Dead. I haven't seen it yet. I do
Oh,
want to
me
watch
either,
it.
actually. Yeah, I keep being told about that.
It is Zack Snyder, Elliot, so I am sorry, but you know, if you can suck it up, it's on Netflix. You don't
Less
have to pay.
Yeah.
And then Cosmo Solace is always going to go last, but I don't think it's quite as bad as people make it out to be. It's just, it's
No,
not a good Bond
no,
film.
no. It is far worse than everyone thinks it is.
It's weird. It's way too short. That's the weird thing. Like, it's an 83-minute film.
Really?
Yeah, it's really short, but it doesn't.
It feels like forever. I've got to say. I really can't get behind it. I don't know whether it's the story, the pacing, or how it's just delivered the story. Just something about it. I really cannot get behind.
I think I like the first maybe 15 minutes when it rounds off Casino Royale with the whole thing with Mr. White or whatever it is, which ends up getting rounded off in Spectre anyways. But other than that, I can't remember any of Quantum of Solace other than that bit where it's
He's
like
stealing the water. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yep, that he sure is. Whoever that bad guy was.
So we got to quickly talk about upcoming stuff, and we've all seen now the trailer of the Eternals, haven't we?
Yes.
Literally
What does everyone
5 minutes ago.
Can I go pessimistic first?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, doom and gloom.
So we'll leave on. We'll go on a high. I'm assuming. Basically, your faces. Yeah. I don't know what it's about, so I'm not very excited for that. It's 10 new characters to introduce all in one film, which I think is ridiculous. I'm not keen on the fact that they've just done the arbitrary race swapping, gender swapping stuff. I think what's the point? Anyway. And it looks like I just get the vibe that this is meant to be the Bollywood one. The more like, Indian inspired thing. And the trailer contradicts itself a number of times with the VO. It's like we sat here like not trying to intervene, and then it proceeds to show clips of them producing water from nothing, teaching us how to build, saying that they taught us language and all this other stuff. And I'm like, very coherent story we got going on here.
Yeah.
And the gag at the end, I really didn't like that. I just thought it was a bit cringeworthy. Like, who's going to lead the Avengers now that it's Captain Rogers and Tony Stark are dead? Oh, I'll do it. It's like, I don't know who you are. Why should I find this funny?
It's me, Rob Stark. I'll do it.
But that's my brief synopsis because there's not much to go off of.
No, I think that's where I would come in at, is that it doesn't really show us anything other than some like visual effects.
Yeah.
I'm an OG Angelina Jolie fan. I've been a fan of hers for ages, but I mean, she's done some not so great stuff. I don't know.
Shall we list them up, or-
It just. So the whole 10 new characters thing, like the way they lay it out, like the end, all 10 of them like line up and they're like, hero shot. It feels like maybe like the first 5, if that, are gonna like be the ones that you get to know, and the others are gonna just disappear or they're gonna die. They're just gonna be killed off for whatever reason. I don't know anything about the Eternals as far as comics go, so I don't know what their character arcs
Neither
are
do
like.
I.
But I'm expecting like the 2 on the ends, they're gone, they're dead. Like no one cares about those. So yeah, I think the same as you. It doesn't really show anything for us to be like, oh, I see where this is coming in at, and it seems like the time. It's like, oh, here's humanity at the beginning of time. Here's a giant Toblerone ship, and then it's like
What was it with chocolate this episode? Chocolate and hats.
the chocolate has. And then it just, it just proceeds to show just a myriad of things from different time periods. And different locations. It's like, oh, here's ye olde humans. Here's India in the middle of God knows when. Here's a major city, which could be India also. Here's a table that looks like it's in a
And
shack
London.
And London. It's like, it's just, images.
Yeah, no
Basically.
villain, I don't understand what the conflict is or why they're here. And then, of course, that opens the can of worms of, like, we sat back and did nothing. And it's like, well, what
But
about
why?
Thanos? Like, that would have affected you too, surely. Half of your team would have disappeared.
or unless the whole team
That's what I was saying when we discussed
Well,
this
that's
a while
true.
ago. Is what if they were all snapped out of existence and they were like, oh, we're dead. We were dead at the time. The ultimate excuse.
That's the get out.
Yeah.
The ultimate excuse. And so, you, Sam, what did you
Well,
think?
look, I'm on the same boat as you guys, to be honest.
Where's the optimism?
Pessimism!
I know. Okay, so initial first thought is like, okay, that's cool. They're getting Jon Snow and
Yeah,
Stark.
Jon Snow just
That's
pops up out of
cool.
nowhere.
I like
He's in
that.
only in one shot, isn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
just pops up
but
on the going.
he's like 6th or 7th build, so they're still fairly high up on the
Okay.
billing. So that usually that means they're in reasonable amount of scenes. Generally, what IMDb is based on. But I think it's too. Why 10 characters is a lot. Like I think the film. That if you want kind of a masterclass 101 in how to introduce a few characters, number of characters like that you've never heard of before into a film is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I had no idea what Guardians of the Galaxy was, yet the trailer showed me everything I wanted to see. It introduced enough characters that you got a team. There's not so many that you're going to forget them all. I guarantee you I'm going to forget half of these.
Yep.
I can't remember it. The only one I remember is Gilgamesh, because that just reminds me of Gargamel from the Smurfs.
I didn't even know that guy was called Gilgamesh, but me and it both play a game where Gilgamesh is a character, and so that's going to stick in my head now because.
Oh well, see, I sort of know about him because he's the first epic hero. He's like ever
he's
ever
like
written, ever committed to any kind of scripture ever.
Yes.
So Gilgamesh as a name /
Yes,
character
of
in the culture of the world is a massive deal. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out in.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvel obviously has a history of doing that. We've got Thor and the Asgardians, so Norse mythology there and
It's just
stuff.
turning
So
to
yeah,
Smite the movie.
yeah.
Just all the gods fighting each other.
I think. Look, I think it could still be good. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, nice to see Angelina Jolie back on screen in a Marvel film, and I'm like, yep, cool. That's where my interest ends.
I want to be wrong, but I don't. I want to see Marvel continue to succeed. I want to be really wrong about this, but I don't think this warranted a movie. Currently, I can't see what the justification was. There's a lot of heroes and stuff that either they have control over or Sony has, and they can do some, hopefully do something with.
Yeah.
I do feel like the what is it now? It's not the second phase. The whatever we're in the post Infinity War chisels, whatever that's called now. Just feels like it's starting off a little weaker, considering we started off with Iron Man 1 in first ever Marvel, and that was such a good film. I feel like everything.
I mean,
now
obviously,
is kind
Iron Man 1 has the benefit of being very underestimated. We'd had a lot of bad comic book films.
True.
And there was no expectations because of that.
Yeah.
But it was still a good film, though, and I feel like now
Yes.
they're starting this new era, what the want to call it, And
phase.
so far, I don't like the word phase. It's just thrown around in Marvel. That's a phase. It just
Phase,
it's
It's
just a
going through a
phase now.
phase.
But it
Yeah.
feels like this phase is just a little weaker so far. I know we haven't really seen anything from it because what was the last one? Far From Home, or
Far From Home was the last
it's the
film.
last of
I don't know
the
what
Infinity
counts.
Saga.
I don't know what counts for the shows. Like, are they new phase or are they kind of in between? I don't know.
Yeah, I
What
don't
they did.
know, but it just feels like it's
Non-phase.
sort of a bit now because obviously
Mm.
we've lost two of the strongest characters. Speaking of which, I watched the first Captain America this week. Still good, whatever. But now it's like, well, where do we go from here? Because you've got rid of obviously Thanos, who was the big overarching villain throughout the entirety of the first how many phases.
4.
Yeah. And you've got rid of Steve and Stark, so it's like, what what can you do now? And it doesn't seem like much is really happening because all the characters we still have around are kind of doing their own little series things, which so far have been. Yeah.
The other thing that I don't like about that is the fact that they've, like in the case of WandaVision, Feige went on statement and has said that they removed Doctor Strange from it. I mean, partly perhaps because of COVID reasons, but another part of that, which he explicitly said, was because they didn't want to have a white man come and explain to Wanda about magic stuff. I'm like, but he's the magic
But he's
guy.
the Sorcerer
Just
Supreme.
if he knows, let him say stuff. And the whole segment with the adverts that I thought were still good, but they were meant to be Stephen Strange communicating with Wanda in the context of her show reality, and I feel like there were lots of threads that were just left sort of loose because they decided to cut out a character that they'd planned to have as an integral part of the script from the beginning. And so I just feel like this whole new phase, they've got characters that they could be weaving in, so we have more of that interconnectedness that we're used to with like phase 3 and 4. But then they've decided to go back on that, and now they're going to introduce new characters. And it's like, so you're basically creating this big reset for no reason.
Yeah, it feels kind of messy at the moment.
I'm more excited to see. Well, I was excited to see what they're going to do with X-Men, although they're going to call it the Mutants now, which I don't know. Okay, I get the whole X-Men thing. It's just come on, it's X-Men. Come on, guys. Like
It's just X-Men.
Yeah.
just call
X
X-Men.
people.
X
Whatever
peoples.
appeases everyone now.
Oh god.
Ex-humans.
Just
Ex-humans, yeah.
Yeah, just call it X-Men. We know it is X-Men.
I'm just gonna if whatever they do to X-Men, I'm just like, right, I have 1, 2, 3, and the Wolverine ones and Logan. That's all I need for my X-Men. That's X-Men has started strong, ended perfectly with Logan. That's done now. If they f it up, I'm like, oh well, I still have these.
Yeah, that's something else.
Yeah, that's something else. Don't associate with that.
Apparently, Ryan Reynolds is really pushing to get Hugh Jackman in it because I know they're going to do the multiverse.
If they do that, then Jesus, that might change things.
See, Wolverine doesn't have to be like a main. Just even like a handing over the mantle thing, and then because if with the multiverse, it does allow them to cherry pick and maybe alternate timelines, whatever it is. Like I would be much more interested. Like I'm also much more interested in seeing what they're going to do with Fantastic Four. Like that, I think that could be really good. And then, but do you know what's funny is that I'm now a bit more interested to see what Sony's going to be doing with all their universe, because they've got a whole load of characters now that they've got a bit more of the creative team from Marvel. Actual Marvel, not so they definitely from what I understand now is their universe is going to be kind of basically, so you got Spider-Man, it's kind of just branch off, so it is in the same universe, it just doesn't necessarily directly reference stuff, it's just that they make it so it can all be in line with stuff. I mean, there's going to be some retconning, but my understanding is that because they realize they can still use Tom Holland Spider-Man in their films.
Yeah.
So I'm much more interested to see that because the Spider-Man universe in itself, I'm much more interested in that. Like I like the I love the Marvel Shared Universe, not like I love it, but I've always been like Spider-Man. I grew up with that. Like the animated series from the '90s is just unbelievable. And the X-Men series as well. Yeah,
the X-Men series. Great fun.
Like X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. Those are the OG ones that I'm mostly interested in. So if it ends up being that Marvel I think Marvel runs the risk, as we've all said, of just kind of falling over a little bit and kind of just going, wait, we're back to 7. I think they're better off going back to formula.
Haha.
little reference there.
Yeah.
And just going small scale. So actually, I'm much more interested in seeing Black Widow now because like that's just kind of a bit more kind of back to basics kind of thing. So I'd be much more interested to see that and slowly build it up again. You've done you've done once where it's gone like that, and now just bring it back, and then you can bring
They
it back
don't want to
again.
sort of collapse under their own weight, sort of thing, because they're
I mean, they're probably going to end up doing something like Secret Wars or something, which I believe is kind of multiverse, and there's a lot more going on there. Which that sounds great, but just you gotta kind of you've done the one roller coaster, now you need to slowly build up to the next one. Don't just kind of go,
Yeah.
things, lots of things. Look,
Yeah, new everywhere.
No.
It's like, but we've already got some. Give us the familiarity we need after this big climax, and just let us settle down.
I am interested in the new Doctor Strange
I see
film. That's where I'm kind of like holding on, because that's my current like Marvel like tie. Is I do love Doctor Strange. So if that
also
film's
Sam
alright,
Raimi.
then... Exactly.
Yes.
I mean,
Come on. Please.
that's no coincidence. This is why I'm still very, very hoping that even if it's just a short, like little cameo, if they can actually cross over, because it's literally multiverse of madness, includes the multiverse. So if they can actually bring in Tobey Maguire, even if it's just Toby, even if it's just him as Peter Parker, I don't care. They can bring him in.
If they just have him walking on and go, pizza time, will that solve your like your cravings? Is that all it needs to be?
I will buy tickets for life no matter what the film at that point. Like that is it. And then the only other thing I had to say on it was I'm going to go back and rewatch the Amazing Spider-Man films because I think they're really underrated, to be honest. I think Andrew Garfield's not the best Peter Parker, but I think he's my favourite Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think he plays the best because he quips like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he got
that's true, actually.
Yeah.
And he does that, and then there's a bit where he breaks the fourth wall that no one really notices in the first Amazing Spider-Man when he's capturing a guy who looks like Bradley Cooper in the car in the parking lot. You'll know the scene if I show you. You'll know the scene. There's a bit where he just talks to the camera, and I'm like, wait a second, I missed that.
All right, damn.
Yeah, so I think Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker, and I think Tom Holland is a good mesh of the two. That's the way I see it. But if we can, I think there's potential that they could, because Sony has the power to do this, and if they're going to do multiverse, they could just finish off Andrew Garfield's storyline and give him, the finish he deserves, because they started it and they kind of just went, nah, that's fine.
Not enough money.
Like the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 is messy as hell, but one, the spider suit, I think it's the best on-screen Spider-Man suit we've ever had. Honestly, that's I'll tell you why. It's because it's clearly influenced from the Raimi suit, which until then was my favorite, especially the Spider-Man 3 one. But I think because it's based on I forget what it is. Is it maybe Spectacular Spider-Man? One of the like the more recent comic was the giant islanders.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Spider-Man suit on screen. Like the part of it is the fact that they with the CG, actually the CG in that film looks better than some of the CG Spider-Man in the MCU because they actually had it so it wasn't completely skin tight and actually had like the ripples of the like material and stuff. So it looked so realistic.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's. I mean, that's what we can finish off with. So, okay, Dan,
I still really like the Spider-Man 2 suit in the the Marvel Spider-Man game when they were like slowly like releasing sort of bonus costumes and they finally put the Raimi one in. I hadn't played it for months. I just jumped on just to change the suit and just run around as Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man. But a similar sort of thing to what you were saying. I feel like in I think it's the first. It's either the first or the second film. Whatever movie magic they do makes that suit feel really like textured. It feels like you can just like sort of like rub it between your fingers. There's something about either the way they did the costume design or the way they rendered the CG that makes it feel a certain. You can like almost see the material and be like, that probably feels like this.
Well, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is heavily influenced, and even Mark Webb said. I think Mark Webb is such a great name for a Spider-Man director. Even he said like it was confirmed that the raised webbing and stuff is very much influenced by the Raimi Spider-Man suit. Because I'm not a big fan of the original Amazing Spider-Man suit where it looks more like a kind of basketball suit or something. It's cool, but it's just.
Basketball.
It's not the Raimi suit. It's
the Raimi suit. It's not good enough.
Yes, that's it. That's me done.
There we go.
We all kind of
I mean, that's all I've had time to watch this week. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm done too.
I
Yeah.
hope the Eternals is good. That's my last point. I hope the Eternals is good. I want to
Yeah.
be wrong.
Yes.
I'm just.
I'm not gonna hold my
I am-
breath, but yeah, I hope it's not a disaster.
Well,
I was
there's
more
so much-
excited about it when it was first announced as a film that was going to exist than I am now. So yeah, I hope it's good, just to rekindle some of that, you know.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I mean, we always have June to look forward to, so.
If it doesn't get pushed back again.
What are you talking about? Nah.
Oh yeah, I watched the trailer for that again. I'm really excited. Need
Really
to see it.
Dune.
Dune.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said June is in like J-U-N. I was
Yes,
like,
yes, yeah. Space Dune. Dune. Dune.
nah,
And it'll
I'm
be in
not.
2 parts.
Indeed.
No.
Oh wow.
I'm
not-
Yeah.
Just not that gripped by it. I don't know if it turns out like everyone's saying it's good, I'll be like, okay, I'll have a look. I want to be wrong about it, but yeah, it's
Can
not.
be inducted into the what? I don't even know. Is the universe just like the normal universe it's set in? I can't remember.
I don't know. I mean, it's in the middle of space somewhere,
Yeah,
so I
it's in
mean,
space
who
somewhere,
knows?
but the Dune universe, whatever that's called.
Duneverse.
Duneverse.
Universe. That's it. Right. With that one, I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, see you in the next one.
All right. Bye.